Hi, welcome back to Chris's Ministry for our series, Crafting a Personal Witness Talk, a guide for Catholic teens. My name is Xander, and thanks for joining us today. But before we go into today's topic, be sure to go and check out the other videos in this series to be up to date on everything that we've covered so far. So, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So, what do we mean by the performance-driven mentality? Well, at its core, it's an attack on your identity. Because it says that you are your performance, you are your speech, and if you do bad on that, you're not enough and you failed. But in reality, this just isn't true whenever we can kind of take a step back. But nonetheless, these thoughts still come to mind. So it's important to understand how to combat these. So the first thing to bring up is this idea of doing versus being. And that is, we're so focused on doing, like insert thing, rather than being a beloved son, being a beloved daughter. We can get so caught up in this whenever we're giving a talk that we're so focused on like, well, how did I do? Did I do a good job? Did I do a bad job? And when it comes to preaching, the posture of our heart needs to be one of being open to God, as opposed to trying to do everything ourselves. And so whenever we can realize this, it's whenever we start to surrender and we kind of let go of our pride and we're able to realize that He's in control of everything. And it's not us, and it's not about our performance and evaluating it all the time. And sometimes there develops this desire to be seen, and we start like striving to be seen. But in reality, whenever we strive for attention, we're left empty. When I first started giving talks, I would often do so because like I felt I had to like prove something. Like I had some knowledge and now I need to like prove it. But I was just totally like left empty in the end. And I'm always kind of reminded of this line from Communion by Maverick City Music, which is, I don't have to prove a thing, you already approve of me. And so anytime that these thoughts of like, I really need to be seen, or I need to prove myself creep in, I'm just reminded that like the Lord looks at me and delights in me. And the same is true for you. Like anytime these thoughts come into mind, just realize like the Lord delights in you and He sees you. And that's good. And then following this, we have the thought of like being a people pleaser. Like, ooh, so-and-so is going to be at the talk, so I want to do a really good job in front of them. I've been there. Or it's like, ooh, this person's going to be at the talk, and so I want to do well so as to be appointed to give a better and bigger talk in the future. But in reality, like, whenever I'm so focused on that, I'm like disconnected from what I'm actually supposed to be talking about. Like I'm so focused on looking cool and smart and collected and whatever in front of this person at the talk, and I don't really focus on the talk, and I end up not doing as good of a job as I thought I would. But it's whenever we can take a step back and we can kind of reject that pride and just surrender to the Lord and ask for an increase in humility that we're able to really do a good job. All of this leads to the idea of surrender for greater freedom. And to illustrate this, I want to give the example of a musician by asking who is more free to play the piano, the musician who surrenders to the concepts and the ideas of music theory, or the person who goes up and randomly hits notes. Well, we would say that the musician is free to play the piano because he knows the concepts of chords and chord progressions and how melodies should sound. And so given that knowledge, given his submission to learning that discipline, he's able to freely create. And kind of the same goes for public speaking. We're really free to speak whenever we realize that it's the Lord speaking through us, and it's the Lord kind of guiding us through this whole process, that we're able to go and speak and do a good job because we're not so focused on ourselves. And so it's getting rid of that pride and once again asking for an increase in humility. So to kind of wrap all of this up in a statement, I want to say, like, don't preach like a perfectionist. Realize that it's not all about the performance. It's not how we did. Like, yes, we need to evaluate ourselves, and yes, it's important to do so in order to grow and become better, but we shouldn't be doing so in a way that makes ourselves look bad or not enough because we didn't perform well. It's whenever we go into that realm of things that it gets really bad, and we just get so prideful because all of this says that, like, I need to do good, I need to do it this way, when in reality it's, no, Lord, you're going to perfect me in the time that you see fit, and I'm going to surrender and accept whatever it is that you have in store for me. So I hope this has helped. Please go like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Follow the social media, and we hope to see you again in the future. God bless.